This episode is brought to you by Netflix. From the creator of Homeland, Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys star in the new Netflix series The Beast in Me, as ruthless rivals whose shared darkness will set them on a collision course with fatal consequences. The Beast in Me is a riveting psychological cat and mouse story about guilt, justice, and doubt. You will not want to miss this. The Beast in Me is now playing only on Netflix.
Shopping is hard, right? But I found a better way. Stitch Fix online personal styling makes it easy. I just give my stylist my size, style, and budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want. No subscription required. And he sends just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and styling tips. I keep what works and send back the rest. It's so easy. Make style easy. Get started today at stitchfix.com/Spotify. That's stitchfix.com/Spotify.
The Ducks move up one spot in the college football playoff rankings ahead of hosting Minnesota on Friday. Are the Gophers a threat? Probably not, but we'll talk about that and more here on the Ducks Confidential podcast. I'm Aaron Fentress of the Oregonian OregonLive, joined by George Wrighster of the Unafraid Show and the CW. George, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm excited for this game. It feels like the Ducks are attracting water wherever they go. It might be raining again on the weekend. This might be the rainiest season, like the most amount of games that Oregon fans have probably had in, their entire, like in one season. Okay, maybe. All I know is that they have an open air press box, and I don't like it. I get cold up there. Iowa, closed, sealed. Seahawks, when I covered them, sealed. I just did 5 years with the Blazers indoors, and now I'm sitting in an open air stadium freezing my buns off. I got no hair, so I got to layer up my head. It's not pleasant, but you got to be like the fans out in the element. Oh, that sucks. It does suck. I want to be cozy with my latte chilling. Toughen up, Buttercup. All right, before we get rolling, today's episode of the Ducks Confidential podcast is brought to you by Travel Lane County, an organization that promotes travel and tourism in the Eugene, Cascades, and Coast region. Ducks fans can find out more at www.eugenecascadescoast.org. All right, George, let's get straight to these rankings. I know you love you some rankings. All college football media and fans love just looking at those rankings and just freaking out about stuff. Ducks move up from 9 to 8. You okay with that? Or you want to complain and say they should be in the top 5 or something? No. I'm actually fine. I'm actually fine with Oregon. All right, that's good. That's good. I don't have a complaint. Like, I can make some arguments, but the frustrating thing for me is that we're sitting here watching people on the television, and we got Joey Galloway and Kirk Herbstreit on a podcast. You got Joey Galloway. This is what happens when the producers or the talent guys at the network say, "Hey, man, you need to start saying something." Or when you got EJ Manuel clipping at your heels because he out there killing it. The boy is for real. Because Joey Galloway, come on. Hey, Kurt, do you know that the ACC, that the Big Ten is closer to the ACC than they are to the SEC? Yeah, I saw that. You're like, what? What are you doing? That only further goes to, huh? Is he wrong? He couldn't have been further from the truth. He's a Big Ten guy, though. He wouldn't be biased. When you work in an echo chamber for long enough, you fall like if you tried to infiltrate a cult, you would end up part of the cult. So here's the thing. Is that the Big Ten has won the last 2 national championships. That's the Big Ten, according to all the analytics and narratives and everything else that they used to love to point to. They used to want to point to the ESPN FPI every single day. Well, ESPN's FPI will tell you Ohio State, Indiana, and then Oregon are the best teams in the country. Now, in terms of their FPI, regardless of what you want to like, all the things that they used to try to point to Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon, and then they will try to make a win like they will try to make a win against Mississippi State, because this is what they said yesterday. Oh my God, that Mississippi State win for Texas.
So funny how much you care about this stuff. Go ahead.
That Mississippi State win and Kentucky going on the road in the SEC is so difficult. But then Oregon goes on the road to Iowa. I mean, it is Iowa. They barely scraped by Iowa. And you're like, whoa. How are you going to sit here and act like that a bottom feeder SEC win on the road is some kind of way better than an Iowa win on the road? And then they want to act like Wisconsin and Florida or Wisconsin and South Carolina are not the exact same team. They are teams with really good defenses and pitiful offenses. They're the exact same teams. But for some reason, network partners, it matters. It matters. Just like if all the games were on, Big Ten, they would do the exact same thing because they kind of do. So I get it. But about the
George,
rankings.
let me say something real quick. So for years, all I heard was about how the Pac-12 was close to the SEC and the Big Ten, blah, 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 blah. Now Oregon's in the Big Ten, and so the Big Ten's better than the SEC. If Oregon were in the SEC, would you be sitting here right now arguing that the Big Ten was better?
Yes, because I do believe, especially
not a chance in hell.
At the top of the no. I never believed that the Pac-10 was better than the SEC. Never. You've never heard me say that the Pac-12 was equal or even close to what the SEC was, except for the very last year of the Pac-12, which was probably the best iteration of the Pac-12 ever. That would be the only year that was the closest that they were to anybody else. In terms of the top conference, but there is a real thing that there is SEC bias when it relates to the to a ESPN. Part of it is because the majority of their analysts are from the SEC as well. So that also feeds into it, because if you are putting people who are on from the SEC and they didn't play against or really watch a whole lot of other conferences, then that's when you are going to fall into it, especially when you're on the East Coast and they're going to sleep at 10 o'clock at night when some of these West Coast games are starting. So to go back to the question that you asked me, in the top 10, I didn't really have a whole lot of issue. Like, I thought that the committee did the right thing, putting Texas Tech at number 6 in front of Ole Miss. We talked about that on the last pod. I was happy that they did that. Texas at 10 still feels fugazi. They're gonna get just absolutely punched in the you know what's this weekend by Georgia. And Vanderbilt at 14, fraudulent. And Utah, even though I'm a Utah supporter, they feel a little bit high at 13 as well. BYU at 12, super fraudulent. And but I did find it interesting that Miami is essentially them being right now. Miami would, if it were to today, they would get into the college football playoff. But essentially, Miami is a placeholder for whatever ACC team gets in.
Because right now, Miami is going to have a hard time even getting into the conference title game, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said Miami is essentially a placeholder for whoever gets in with the automatic bid from the ACC, because Miami is 7th in the is 7th in the conference right now. Duke has a much better chance to make the conference championship, and they're 5-4 right now, which is crazy because all they need to do is beat Virginia, whose quarterback may not be playing, beat North Carolina, beat Wake Forest, and then they need two other relatively. They need Georgia Tech to lose to Pitt, which is definitely possible. And they need one other relatively easy thing to happen. And then that Pitt-Miami game at the end won't even matter. It won't even matter the outcome. They will be into the ACC championship. And then the ACC champion is getting into the college football playoff. But then Miami, who will probably be the highest ranked ACC team, won't get it.
Okay. So back to this conference thing. What Galloway's point was, you may have 2 or 3 high-end programs in the Big Ten right now, but depth-wise, the SEC is deeper. And I would argue that, year to year, you can make different arguments, and week to week, everyone does that.
Yeah, but we're talking about just this year in particular.
Okay, but that's so hard to measure because they're not playing each other. And so we say, oh, this team beat that team, but that team's not good enough for beating them, and this team, that, and it just becomes convoluted. At the end of the day, though, the SEC has a longer list of more traditionally powerful programs than the Big Ten, especially after adding Texas, Oklahoma, and A&M. Right. Okay, so this year, though, in the Big Ten, who are we impressed by in the Big Ten? Indiana and Ohio State for sure. Oregon's living on reputation. They don't have really. God,
stop it, Aaron.
This year's team. See, I knew it. You automatically get defensive, right? They have nothing on their resume that's overly impressive. That's not necessarily their fault. It's not their fault that Penn State fell off the map. It's not their fault they don't get a crack at Ohio State or even Michigan this year. They lost to Indiana, which is okay. Indiana's a good program, but Oregon right now, if you look at their resume, it's not impressive. Again, that doesn't mean they're not good. I'm just saying they're not impressive. But you sort of set that aside for them because you believe they're good. And so what I'm saying is that there's other programs in the SEC who I think would mollywop the Ducks.
Okay,
but Oregon's not playing them, so we don't know.
No. Hold on. I'm glad you brought that up. And this is where I say you're flying too close to the sun because you make a statement like there are other programs. Okay, so let's go. Ole Miss, they've beaten Georgia State, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tulane. LSU. Hold on.
We don't need to go through
LSU, which is just like the Penn State win right now. Hold on. LSU, which is just like the Penn State win right now. They struggled against Washington State. They only beat Washington State by 3. They lost to Georgia. Oh wait, we still have no ranked wins. Oh, they beat Oklahoma, and then they beat a 2 or 3 win South Carolina team. That's not a more impressive resume than Oregon has for sure. And then let's go to another SEC team. We won't even talk about Tennessee and Missouri. There's nothing else. There's nothing there at all. And then you look at Alabama. They lost to Florida State. Their most impressive wins are against other SEC teams that are overrated at this point. So the SEC gets judged against themselves as opposed to judged against other people. That's my only issue. I look at these conferences, Aaron, and I look at the top of the conferences. I look at the bottom of the conferences. I look at the bottom of the SEC. You got Arkansas, South Carolina, Auburn, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Florida, and LSU. Those teams would be if those teams play against Penn State, Purdue, Wisconsin, Illinois, Northwestern, those teams are going to be, they're going to go 50-50 in those games. And you look at the top of the conference, you got Ohio State, Indiana, USC, Oregon, Michigan, and Iowa. And you compare those teams to the top of the SEC. Iowa and Vanderbilt are the exact same team.
I don't know why I did this to myself. My bad.
I'm just saying.
It's like spinning a top. It's like spinning a top.
These conferences are literally equal.
Okay.
But people want to use history as the example, and you've talked about this. You have talked about this when it comes to your theory about Mark Helfrich and all of this stuff. Well, if NIL and transfer portal and all this stuff, well, those things exist now, and the SEC and traditional powers in general, they have been nerfed. They are no longer as powerful as they were because of NIL and the transfer portal. And even Nick Saban has said, the Big Ten is now the best conference because of NIL and the transfer portal and people not going to only SEC teams. The best players are more spread out now. So there you go.
Okay, I don't disagree with that last part. I think we all saw that coming. But my point is, if you had an NFL style situation with the SEC and the Big Ten, I think the SEC ends up having better teams if they all played each other. All the arguing now is based on speculation and fantasy because they don't play, which is why college football is so silly. But they set it up this way because they want people arguing about it because that drives the machine. And it's annoying to me because it's so illogical. But whatever. Fine. Big Ten's better. I don't really care, to be honest with you. Let's talk about one thing I want to ask you, because everyone's, I think it's, they're going to beat Minnesota. The question for Oregon, especially if the bias is against the Big Ten, is does a 2-loss Oregon team get into the playoffs? Because I kind of believe a loss is coming. I don't know who it's going to be yet, USC or Michigan, or Washington. But I do feel like a loss is highly probable. I think it's 50-50. They lose one of these final 2 games. So does a 10-2 team get in, given the landscape and given the bias that you say exists for the SEC?
I believe it depends a little bit on what happens in front of them. You see what I'm saying? Where like you have, okay, so Texas, if Texas loses to Georgia, like I expect this weekend, right? Then Texas is going to be hard pressed to get into so then that's going to put Texas out. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then if Alabama beats Oklahoma this weekend, then Oklahoma is going to essentially be out as well. And they're going to get pushed so far back. BYU has a chance to lose to Cincinnati or TCU. If they drop one of those, they are toast. And you're going to have the same thing. Like, I don't believe that they're going to that they would put Utah in front of Oregon with a loss to either USC or to Washington. And I don't believe Oregon loses to USC. I do not. I stand firm on that. I think that they have a better chance of losing to Washington or Minnesota than they do to USC. So I do believe a 2-loss team gets in, especially because there are results. Like Notre Dame could get kicked out with a loss to Pitt, but if they don't lose to Pitt, then they're home free after that. So there are some scenarios where a 2-loss Oregon team does comfortably make it into the playoff, but they won't get a home playoff game.
So one of the problems too is the group of 5 team that gets in. So you got to finish top 11.
No, you got to finish top 10, really.
Top 10? Yeah. Because
right now the cutoff spot is 10 because Miami's ranked 15th. So the ACC champion is ranked low
you're talking
already,
about
and then the group of 5.
Then the group of 5.
So it's actually top 10 really.
Okay,
and if Notre Dame, Texas, and Oklahoma, if Notre Dame, Texas, and Oklahoma lose, that clears the deck for you. But if Texas, you see what I'm saying? A 3-loss Texas team,
they'll be out.
Yeah, and a 3-loss
Oklahoma team
Notre Dame team is for sure out.
Yeah,
and then a 3-loss Oklahoma team, they will all be behind Oregon as well. Right. So that's why I said there are some scenarios where that can happen, but there are some interesting results to go at the end of the season, which can change that.
So Ducks fans should definitely want Bama to beat Oklahoma.
Yes.
And you definitely want Texas to lose. You get those two out of there. Two losses. Yep. 2-loss Oregon probably maybe still gets in over a 1-loss BYU. Vandy for sure.
Yeah.
And then there's no one else really. So that's yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But
and USC already has 3 losses. So if USC don't they?
No, USC has 2 losses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's the problem. If USC beats you and goes 10-2, you're screwed.
Either that or you end up with 4 Big Ten teams in, which is doable too. It just all
it's
depends
doable,
on
but it's not likely.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it. Just all depends on the rest of the result.
It's best to lose to Washington than USC though.
Correct.
Yeah,
I would definitely agree with that
because Washington already has the 3 losses. Hold on a second, real quick. So who else does USC? Who does USC have this week?
USC has Iowa.
Iowa at home. Okay, and it's going to rain, like you said. You've been saying,
Yep.
So that's going to help Iowa. Maybe I still think USC wins that. Then Oregon. And they got UCLA at home. So yeah, that game against USC is going to be ginormous. They cannot lose that game.
Yeah. This I mean, and truthfully, Oregon fans should. I mean, where people would say, "Oh man, you should want USC to win." I don't care. As long as you win your games, you're fine. But if you end up in a but with USC and Iowa this weekend, the weather is going to be awful here in LA. It's going to be thunderstorms, raining not just that day, but tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. And then thunderstorms on Saturday. It's going to rain on Sunday. Like there's no chance that it's not raining heavily at the football game. So the biggest question is, all right, so what are they going to do? You know what I mean? Like if Iowa wins that football game, USC is going to quit. And I don't think I want. No, for real. They will absolutely quit. Yeah, that will be the straw that broke their back because they believe that everything is fine now. Like their confidence is getting up. I hear it in the USC fan base. I see it on their message board. They are getting that like, oh yeah, yo, we got a chance. We're gonna win out, and we just got to get past that Oregon game. They have been overlooking Iowa. And on their message board in the Oregon, so they created an Iowa-Oregon game thread to like talk about it. 70% of the comments in there, Aaron. We'll wipe the floor with both of these teams. We will just, oh my God, do you know what our defense and our offense is going to do to both of these teams when we get a hold of them? All right. Let me know when you come out with a limp from this Iowa game, buddy. Because they and now mind you, I picked USC to win the game, but I didn't pick them to cover that 6.5 points. And so I let me see if their betting line has gone down because this weather kind of came out of nowhere. It was just supposed to be cold, and then it has continuously. So the over under was 49. 49.5 at first. And wait, is that this game? Oh, no, that's the basketball game. I was like, what the hell's going on? Hold on. Bro, where's the... Okay, so this betting line is, it's still 6.5 with 49.5 over under. That's pretty high considering what the weather is gonna be. Yeah, but all right. Well, we'll see.
All right, moving on. Oregon's hosting Minnesota on Friday. The Ducks are a 25.5-point favorite over the Gophers. Clearly, the Gophers have offensive issues. They ranked, hold on right here. They rank hold on, let me find this again. 118th in total offense, 96th in scoring, with the worst rushing attack in the Big Ten. Defensively, not bad though, right? 4th nationally with 3.5 sacks per game. Watch out, Dante Moore. And they only give about 21 points per game. Recently, though, they got hammered by Iowa 41-3 at Iowa. So there's your measuring stick. Ducks go in there winning.
Yeah, but that was, I think Iowa scored. They scored at least once on special teams and I think twice on defense.
Hey.
So it wasn't like Iowa's offense was just marching up and down the field.
Well, no, I know, but we know they don't do that. But the point is, to your argument, that Minnesota's defense may not be as horrible.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
But 100%. the offense is atrocious. Three interceptions. The quarterback, Drake Lindsey, was 16 of 28 for 109 yards, 3 picks. They rushed for 24 yards on 25 carries in a game they lost 41-3. So, this team's not good. I honestly don't even know what to say about this game. To me, the Ducks don't win by at least 20.
Hold on.
It might be an issue.
Drake Lindsey. I know that you read the Iowa stat line. This is a kid that people are going to pay big money for to get into the transfer portal at quarterback. He's a freshman. This kid's good, Aaron. Like he might
be good. He's just not going to be good on Friday.
I would agree.
He wasn't good against Iowa. He's not going to be good on Friday. Now, he was 26 for 39 for 197 against Michigan State. He may have some talent, but if he's a freshman, he's still growing, just like Dante was a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, but it's the bigger issue when you watch them play is that their offensive line, like he's playing with people in his lap all day. So
he lit up Rutgers though, like everyone does.
Yeah,
324, 3 touchdowns.
When people are not sitting in his lap, he's really good. So I want Oregon fans to understand that this is not Zach Galifianakis, Kaliakmanis from Rutgers. This kid is much better. He is one of the better. I would take him over Dylan Raiola over there at.
Really?
Yes. I don't think
okay.
I'm not a big Rye. I think he is 100% overrated. I've known the kid for a long time, got nothing against him as a person. He looks good getting off the bus, but all the stuff they talk about him, about Mahomes, the comparison is not even outside of them looking like each other and him styling himself like Mahomes. Nothing about their games is remotely similar. I would take, truthfully, And now I believe that this kid's ceiling is higher, but NFL potential might be higher for Drake Lindsey than even Bryce Underwood. Dude, I'm probably taking him 8th out of all Big Ten quarterbacks.
Okay.
Because at the top of my list, I'm taking Sam Moore, Fernando Mendoza, Maivia, Nico Iamaleava, because he's been playing really well. And
you say Underwood?
You
say Underwood?
No, and Damon Williams. I would take all of them. Actually, I would probably take and then I would take Underwood after that. Oh, sorry, Drake Lindsey. Okay. Somewhere around there. There's a lot of there's a lot.
So bad offensive line, young quarterback, weak running game. Defense is all right, but threat level for me was 1. I think you had it at 3.5 or something ridiculous like that. You sticking with that?
I've lowered it to a 3.
Okay.
Because
it's Friday.
It is Friday night.
Blah 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 blah.
All right.
Come on.
Listen, you can't ignore these things. Team coming off a bye.
You can't ignore them.
No. Team coming off a bye, short week. We don't buy into the rat poison. We do not drink rat poison, Aaron. You are trying to give us rat poison.
You do this so you can say how big of a win it was after the fact, like you did last year with Purdue.
No, it's not going to be a big win.
You're like, the Purdue win it was a trap game at Purdue, and we could have been emotionally exhausted. It was a big win. Blah, blah, blah.
Hey, listen. Situations dictate everything. This is Oregon's biggest game of the entire season right now.
Okay. Yes, it is. That's true. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
We're good in the West? Like John Morant?
No. See, you're trying to get us to drink the rat poison. We do not drink that. we do not drink the you are trying to give us the
I'm not trying to do anything. I'm trying to be realistic.
The Jonestown juice, and we're not drinking it.
This game's over. All right, last thing before we go. Aside from a win and aside from, trying to hype this up as any kind of threat, what do we need to see from this team? Well, I'll just say what I want to see, even if it rains some, I want to see Dante Moore throw for 200 yards and a couple touchdowns. I want to see the passing game get back on track. All right. I want to see it look like a threat because you're going to need it. You can't just turn on the switch at some point after throwing for 125 yards a game because you're scared of some rain. They need to get out there and show that they can get the ball downfield to the receivers and make some plays from the pocket.
Why?
Period.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
I just said, you can't just magically turn that on someday. You have to be able to already be demonstrating that ability at a high level against good competition. Not that Minnesota's great competition, but they need to get that thing rolling again.
No, you don't have to get it rolling in this game. Here's the thing.
Okay.
There is only one thing I care about right now. I do not care about like all these fans. Oh, we need this, we need that. We don't need anything but a win. That is the only thing that you need is a win and your defense to continue to be dominant. That is all I want. That is all I want. Defense to be dominant and win the football game. That's it. And it not be a nail biter. That is all I care about. I don't care how those two things get accomplished. That's it. Don't have turnovers. Don't have a bunch of penalties. So I just want you to play clean, play great defense, and win the football game comfortably. That's it.
All right. Fair enough. Today's episode of the Ducks Confidential podcast was brought to you by Travel Lane County, an organization that promotes travel and tourism in the Eugene, Cascades, and Coast region. Ducks fans can find out more at www.eugenecascadescoast.org. All right. That's it for the Ducks Confidential podcast. He is George. I am Aaron. We'll be back next week to talk about this blowout win over Minnesota. And here, George exaggerated about how big of a win it was because it was a threat because of Friday night, blah, blah, blah.
I just told you it's not. Listen, it's the biggest game of the season.
No, we got to go.